Altcoins are pumping right now, but is this pump going to last? Resistance is being broken. Is this the beginning of altcoin season or just another fake out to the upside with a long, boring, drawn out summer? Today's show, we're going to get into those details, but here's the deal. I'm not selling, and I don't think you should either. In the video, I'm going to tell you why that is, but I'm very excited to be here with you guys live once again. It's Wednesday. If you're excited about a live show from the Investing Bros community, make sure even right now, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. All right, let's go. What's going on, everybody? Let's go to our full screen here. The team is here. Got Smay, got T Shroom. We got a lot of news to get into. Macro news. We got news from Ethereum. We got XRP news. Got some Bitcoin news. Maybe we'll have some time for some questions at the end. But I got to start out, as I always do, asking the boys, the bros, how we doing today, fellas? T Shroom, let me start with you.
Well, Tim, I'm doing better than I deserve. Got a chance to go up to the top of a cool mountain and have some fun up there on Amicalola Lodge. Cannot recommend that enough. If you're ever in North Georgia, check it out.
Can't say it enough. Say it again. What's it called?
Amicalola.
Sounds like you made it up.
Absolutely.
How about you, Smay? How are we doing today? How are the Steelers?
Yankees 22 ask, is that Luke Combs or Smay? Guys, this is easily Smay. I don't look anything like Luke Combs right now. Anyways, yeah, I'm doing good. The Steelers, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. We're basically a retirement home now, but we'll find out how that goes.
There we go. All right, well, let's get right into it, guys. What do you guys want to talk about today? Again, we had a lot of stories and charts prepped for you. Resistance dropping like flies out here on altcoin charts. Is that going to lead to altcoin season, though? That's the question. Before we get into altcoin discussion, because that is the main topic here today, let's start off with Papa Crypto. That's Bitcoin. Bitcoin continues to improve on one metric. What is that metric, T-Shroom?
Yeah, it's Bitcoin on exchange. Go ahead and jump over to my screen here, Smay. Pompliano was on a huge mainstream financial media channel known as Fox Business here in the United States. And he said this: you're starting to see the number of Bitcoin on exchanges and over-the-counter desks go down, so the price will have to readjust. Readjust in what direction? Let us know in the comments which direction do you think the price will readjust if supply on exchanges is getting reduced, getting down to all-time lows. Tim, what do you think would happen to the price of Bitcoin? How would it readjust?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, supply shocks are a thing. I mean, economics, guys, let's go back to the very beginner basics. If you have a set supply, if supply does not go up, but demand goes up, you have price go increase. If the supply increases and the demand wanes, then all of a sudden the price goes to the downside. If they go up together, price stays steady. Well, where are we sitting at right now? Even though there's a lot of people have been buying Bitcoin for quite some time, we don't yet have the liquidity. We don't have the reasons yet to go all in on Bitcoin, but all of that is probably just a couple of months away. So the demand absolutely will still be coming increased, but we continue to see supply of Bitcoin. We know there's only so much made at any given time, but as it continues to be removed from exchanges, that means less and less and less of it is available to buy. If you and me and our brother Sam and everybody else in the world has their Bitcoin locked up in a cold wallet and we don't even have it out there on exchanges, that means we're not even close to selling it, which means it's not for sale. What do market makers do with that situation? Well, don't have a lot of Bitcoin, got a lot of buyers. Let's raise those prices to the upside. I know a lot of people are going to say, Tim, supply shock. We've been talking about supply shock for a long time. I'm not promising you this supply shock means the Bitcoin's heading to 150,000 tomorrow. That's not the point. The point is you shouldn't be selling because a lot of evidence still shows over the next 5, 6, 7. Heck, I still think the next couple of years we'll see continual upside on Bitcoin. This is not the time to sell just yet. When we get closer, I will absolutely let you guys know when I plan on selling my Bitcoin, when I plan on selling my altcoins. In fact, actually, let me tell you about my Bitcoin sales. I'll tell you when I'll sell my Bitcoin. When I die, I'll let my son decide if he wants to sell my Bitcoin. I'm not selling it ever. Altcoins, I'll keep you posted. I'm definitely selling my altcoins. But yeah, Bitcoin continues to go off exchange. T-shirt, I wanted to kind of show them, and I was looking for it. I can't remember the name of the account, but I wanted to help them if they find it. What was the name of that account that tracks? And literally this X account is designated every single day to just talking about how much Bitcoin is on exchanges. It comments on large accounts the daily quote on how much Bitcoin has either been added to exchanges or left off. Do you remember the name of that account? Because I think you did show them to me.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up on my screen. It's called Bitcoin Exchange Balance. And yeah, 11 hours ago, they weren't very creative with that. They just went for it. 11 hours ago, they posted 2,903,879 Bitcoins, which is actually up 200 Bitcoins in 8 hours. But that's the amount that's on exchange. It's a very, very low amount historically. There's much more than that available on exchange. And Tim, like you shared earlier, a basic macroeconomics lesson would say that as supply reduces, the quantity of supply reduces, the price can go up for the underlying asset.
Absolutely. Yeah, you see even there, the last two posts, again, in the last 24 hours, it looks like we have had some Bitcoin come on. But if you look at the post before it, it was like negative 1,300, then positive 1,000, positive 2. But if you go to the last 24 hours, we're still net negative on Bitcoin on exchange. So keep posting on that. But that's another reason. Keep your eyes peeled on those charts. Again, we're going to get into some altcoin TA in just a little bit. But before we do that, let's check out what Bitcoin is doing on those charts. You'll know that we have a couple different things. Go ahead and go to my screen here, Smay, as we look at our Bitcoin update for today. We've been tracking a very bullish formation for the last couple of weeks, honestly. In fact, I would say if you were to go all the way back here to June 30th, right? So 2 weeks, week and a half, really. We started to press once again, got a third touch on this lower high channel. So we put in now multiple lower highs, multiple lower lows. This was a bull trend or bear trend, by definition. But we also told you, hey, we might pull back first, but don't be surprised to see a breakout coming very soon and a big breakout to the upside. On the macro scale, if you're taking a look at the bull flag pattern, which would be the flagpole kind of coming in here from the lows we had back in April to the recent all-time high, if I can hit that correctly. There we go. You take that same flagpole, you move it over to the last support touch. This would give us a multi-month. I mean, I'm talking about late 2025 at the earliest, probably sometime early 2026, an $150,000 Bitcoin is in the card still. On a more micro scale, though, let's say you just want to focus on maybe the next couple of weeks, maybe next month or two. Just take a look at the channel itself. Opening of the channel gives us the volatility of a big move. Now that we've retested resistance as support, I'll talk more about that here in a second. That target, a lot more attainable, $119,000 for Bitcoin is the next target. This lines up with things that we've talked about before when it comes to, if you looked at key Fibonacci levels, if you come back to the highs we had in January of 2025 down to those April lows, we discussed the fact that 120 was a very key 1.272 range on Fibonacci extension. I think we're going to find some similarities there as well if you looked at the more recent price action using Fibonacci extension. Let's take a look right here. 120, it's actually not quite there. 117 is going to be the 1.386. So not as much right there. That would actually give some credence on the golden pocket extension to about 121. So we go a little higher than 119, that breakout pattern, we actually hit closer towards 121,000. That's going to be something absolutely on Fibonacci extension. Anyone who trades that way, keep an eye on that. The other good news is you're kind of looking out here at what's happening on Bitcoin. Again, as we now have not just crossed above resistance, something I'm very big on. I talk about this all the time. If you want to learn technical analysis, join the VIP trading group. It's a great place to learn TA. But to close and confirm a breakout, you want to see not just one, but at least two, if not 3, 4, 5 candles open and close above that resistance level. Well, what do we have here? We technically did break above this level of resistance back here on July 3rd. Very good stuff. But on the 4th, we had a nice pullback here where we crossed back and closed below that level of resistance. So at this point, you have a failed breakout. Doesn't mean it was over. just means for the moment, you can't call it a confirmed breakout. But then a couple days later, we close once again on the 6th above, and now we have spent 1, 2, 3, and today will be day number 4, opening and closing above the resistance level. This is a major, major win. Next step, if you want to say, I want a lot of confidence about this Bitcoin long, let's get above 110.5, a double top situation that we hit on July 3rd and way back on June 9th. Let's get above 110.5. That'd be 110,500 for anyone who wants the exact number. Once we get back above that level, we are breaking higher highs in a very bullish formation, and that 120, 150 becomes much more likely. We're under some daily buy signals right now. Right now, after a couple days of a gray dot, we have a green dot coming back in on the Lux Algo Oscillator, our favorite oscillator. And even all the way out here on the weekly chart, we have been under some positivity. Guess what's happening right now, though? The money flow starting to flow back to the upside. That, ladies and gentlemen, would equal a buy signal out on the weekly chart. We have targets to the upside. We are well above the smart trail. So you look at that red cloud, guess what we're looking at? Low end 116, high end 143 to stretch those bands out. Explosive moves happen in Bitcoin all the time. Are we on the precipice of one happening once again? So that's what we're seeing right now on Bitcoin. Again, not confirming, not telling you go take a mortgage out on your house and go put it all onto Bitcoin, but we're seeing a lot of positivity. We're seeing breakouts coming. Let's get above 110.5, and all of a sudden, fireworks for Bitcoin at least will be going off. Altcoins, we'll talk about them here in just a couple of minutes. Really quickly, we're about to transition to altcoins. A lot of you guys came in looking at that title, looking at the the thumbnail and saying, man, what's going on with altcoins right now? I think there's some cautious optimism going on. We're going to talk about altcoins here in just a second, cover some news happening. A lot of resistance is breaking, but really quickly, want to give you a word from today's sponsor, and that is Kinesis. We're sitting here talking about making money, but Kinesis is an amazing exchange that you can go right now. If you hate fees when you go to Onramp your US dollar into cryptocurrency, if you want to spot buy and keep low fees, there's not a better place out there than Kinesis to do that, even in the world of crypto. What's even cooler is, while we love cryptocurrency here, we're also big fans of diversification. And I love the concept of having passive income, money that you don't have to do anything to earn. You just leave it somewhere and you can make a lot of money. Well, guess what? When you yield and hold your gold and silver, by the way, the only place you can actually buy digital gold, digital silver backed by the real stuff, you earn a reward on that holding of gold and silver. T-Shroom, remind me, what is the average percentage of return on investment when you hold your gold over on Kinesis?
I don't think that there's I can't remember the average off the top of my head, but I believe it was 11% in May, something like that. I'm trying to find it here on their website right now.
Yeah, pretty much just like yield. When you yield when you stake a coin or you're holding altcoins, you can return a yield. If you hold gold or silver, not only can that go up as gold and silver go up, which, by the way, those things are going off the charts as well, you can earn rewards and not even have to do anything to make that extra money. Kinesis is, I believe, the exchange of the future. No shade to these other ones. We still have a Coinbase account, but I am in the process right now of flipping everything from Coinbase over into Kinesis. I think you guys should be doing the same. Check out the link down below right now to save money on your fees and start making more money holding gold and silver over on Kinesis. Let's go ahead and transition here into altcoin talk, though. T-Shroom, you guys, while he's doing this, smash the like button, hit subscribe if you're just joining us. Altcoins are hitting some major milestones, doing some very impressive things. Let's get into the news side of it, though. Starting off, I believe we're going to start off with an XRP story. Ripple in the news here today. XRP chart is flying. What's going on with Ripple today, T-Shroom?
Yeah, absolutely. Had a double whammy of good news today. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse testified before the U.S. Senate Banking Committee. This happened at 10:15 a.m. It's already happened, but you guys can go back and watch highlights. But that's not all for Ripple XRP. The Bank of New York Mellon, ticker BK, will be the primary custodian for the Ripple's U.S. RLUSD reserves going forward. The two companies said they announced that today. That's pretty big because Bank of New York Mellon, one of the oldest banks and one of the most trusted banks in the United States, shaking hands with Ripple. It's a very, very big partnership that really helps Ripple get across some compliance hurdles that they may have faced in the future. Having this partnership with bank with the Bank of New York Mellon just helps them overcome that quite a bit better, more efficiently. So two big double whammies for XRP. And I did see that the price of XRP was up today. So that's pretty exciting for the hodlers.
Yeah, we have more news here on Ethereum in a second, but let's just kind of pause there with XRP. This is a coin we have been saying now for a while. Yes, it was consolidating just like it had for years before. But we told you, listen, this is one of those coins that banks are going to love. BNY Mellon, being a bank, they have chosen it as a big partner. I mean, that was one of the negative connotations about XRP even years ago. People were like, oh, it's a banker's coin. It's a banker's coin. Yeah, it's a banker's coin. Guess who handles a lot of money? Banks. Guess who's probably not going anywhere? Banks. I saw a great, if you guys watched that Charles Hoskinson interview with Sean Ryan, he actually goes into this where he says, there's not going to be this like colossal takeover where banks and the current financial systems fall away. It'll actually be way more about which banks and which companies understand that Web3 and blockchain is the future and adapt and bring it in, right? Those who are left out, those who follow the advice of someone like Senator Elizabeth Warren, who wants nothing to do with crypto, they will go out of business very, very soon. But those who say, you know what, we can't fight this crypto thing anymore, we need to embrace it, utilize it, and bring it in, those companies will stick around. If you think that crypto is going to end banks, sorry, people like you and me might say, I don't want to trust banks anymore and want to bank ourselves, but the masses are sheep. They're going to continue to want to trust some other third entity to hold their money. They're still going to do that via the blockchain because it's the most effective form of transferring money back and forth. That's why XRP will still be a major, major player in the crypto world. And there's just one more story in that direction. As far as the charts are going, like I said, we have been calling it for it here. So let's go to my screen. We've been calling for a big breakout in XRP for a while. Now, I don't want to necessarily start saying XRP is about to pop up a little bit. It would get rejected, come back down, it would fall back down to lower levels below $2 and then pop back up. But ideally, if you go back even all the way, we'll say safely back here into March, but you could probably make an argument even back in December. It seems like 220, 230 was the most comfortable level for XR price to be at, right? Right now, we're only at 239. We are breaking out right now. We have broken resistance. I'm going to talk about that, but let's not, throw out a red carpet and say XRP is about to explode. It's still below 240, right? It's not as high as it was even this more recent peak, the recent lower high in May that we got up here to 264. We're not that high yet, but what we're doing right now is breaking trend lines, breaking resistance. This formation that XRP has been under, it is a descending level of resistance since those all-time highs back in January. Then we put in a lower high here in March, and then another lower high in May. Right now, we are working to break that trend. We have now had, if today closes bullish, which again, I think it should, this will be technically day 3 in a row that XRP has opened and closed above this red level of resistance. If this continues to hold, I made a video about this on Monday. Some of you guys watched it. If not, I encourage you guys, watch our videos. They're very helpful. They're nice and short. We're keeping them, around the 10-minute mark, sometimes a little over, sometimes a little under. But for anyone who has maybe attention deficit disorder, you can't watch hour-long videos every single day to get all of your information. I feel like this is a great channel for you. We have one weekly live show. We have multiple uploads going out. We talked about the price prediction of XRP. Take the opening of this formation, and now that we have a confirmed breakout, at least above resistance, the target to keep an eye on is going to be all the way up here above $4, somewhere in the world of 406, 407. That's massive. Ideally, want to see it get back above 260 to feel confident about this prediction. But for now, this is a very good sign for XRP. The news is good. The charts are good. And again, you go back out here. Why is Tim predicting an $11 to $12 XRP? It's because this explosive move that took us into this consolidative move that we've been in now since January, this is a flagpole attached to a flag pattern. This would give us a target. Guess where? Right up here above $11, just shy of a $12 prediction for the future. I still believe XRP can easily get to that level before this bull market is over. I'll say this before we move on. I'm going to keep saying bull market, bull market, bull market. I have a hot take that we'll maybe discuss a little bit here. I definitely have discussed with our VIP trading group in our private sessions. I'll probably make a video about it in the future. I think the future of bull market, bear markets, and the way that we have grown accustomed to here in the crypto markets are dead and gone. I think if you're going to sit here from here on out waiting for this 4-year cycle to continue, first of all, the 4-year cycle is already busted at this point. I have a lot of reasons why that is. But if you're going to sit here and say, all right, we're going to go up for 3 years, down for 1 year, it's going to be this rhythm like clockwork. I think you guys are going to get lost a lot moving forward. I think the future is going to be heavily tied to how is the economy overall? How are we developing as a nation and a country? I think U.S. still kind of leads how these things go. But when we have economic disparity, I think altcoins will suffer. But as long as things are moving in the right direction, don't be surprised to see a lot more looks like the stock market with lots of pumps, long-term pumps, minor pullbacks here and there, couple months here and there, and occasionally when recessions hit, that's when you see your longer bear market positions. But I don't think it's no longer any longer tied to the 4-year cycle and tied to the halving events with Bitcoin. But again, that's a whole nother conversation, I'll say, for a different piece of content. For right now, in this bull market, again, I still believe $4 easy, $12 XRP still coming down the road. If you don't like it, sell before then. That is completely up to you. There's your XRP technical analysis for the day. Let's also talk about Ethereum. Now, before we get into the Ethereum news here and what's going on, you can go off my screen now, Smay. The big thing about Ethereum, and we've been saying this for a while, those of you who are altcoin season fiends, you're sitting here waiting for altcoin season. You haven't seen one since early in 2021, and you're getting very frustrated. You're getting very tired. You're considering giving up. Why is Ethereum so important? Right? Every time we post an Ethereum video on this channel, I feel like you guys don't like Ethereum, right? That's some of our lowest viewed content is Ethereum content. But you should be caring about Ethereum because historically, as altcoins get going, the power dynamics flip from heavy Bitcoin, where we have seen that now for a long, long time. It starts to slowly transition into Ethereum, and Ethereum starts to run, and then behind Ethereum comes the rest of the altcoin space. So watching Ethereum, that has been very boring, very sideways in the macro perspective, very disappointing so far in this bull market. We are sitting here waiting for a major breakout on Ethereum. And I see things on the charts and I see things in the news, but if you love altcoins, even if you don't hold Ethereum, even if you hold every other altcoin under the sun, just not Ethereum, you should still be watching the Ethereum chart and paying attention to Ethereum news because it will be like the alarm bell that the season is upon us, that being the altcoin season. For more on that, T-Shroom, what's going on with Ethereum right now that people need to know about on the trading side? And are we expecting a big move in the next couple of days or weeks here for Ethereum?
Yeah, well, there's an indicator that Zero Hedge has been tracking. Zero Hedge, a big account over on X, and it's Ether net specs or record shorts versus Ether ETF flows, strongest year to date. I've got this image blown up. Don't worry, you're not going to have to squint to see it. This is what this looks like. So this is the Ether cash flows, net total specs. This is at an all-time high volume here for this. It's coming off of an all-time high, I should say. The latest histogram here, though, is printing significant volume for this ratio. It's pretty impressive, and it's essentially saying that there's a lot of people out there shorting Ethereum. So isn't that a bad thing, though, Tim? Like, how should investors think about this chart and this data that we're seeing from Zero Hedge?
Yeah, the first thing to notice about that, pull that chart back up real quick, Smay, even if my face isn't on it. I want to zoom in on it if you can, T-Shroom, and look at the peaks here of what this is looking like, how heavy these ETH shorts have been. We're going to go back all the way. That's going to be roughly February, right? So February, we're increasing here right now, but we've been heavy pretty much nonstop. You could actually go back to December. There's been a lot of hefty shorts on Ethereum going back even as far as December. Now let's go over to my screen, take a look at what's happening here. ETH, I know there's been a big pullback here since December, but as a whole, especially here more recently since May, we've been holding up. We've had bounces despite those heavy shorts. And so what you're looking at here is there's a lot of shorts happening, and yet Ethereum is holding up quite well right now, right below a very key level I'm going to talk about here in a second. And we're about to look at Bitcoin TA, by the way, as well. If you guys are not in the comment section, Bitcoin is above 110,000. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin TA again here in a second. But for now, let me talk about ETH. When you have this many shorts attacking Ethereum, and yet Ethereum price since back here in May is holding strong. Yeah, we had a little bit of a pullback here at the end of June, but we're holding strong. the chances and likelihood of what's called a short squeeze are beginning to increase. What does that mean? A lot of people are betting on Ethereum to go to the downside, but they have stop losses. A lot of them in this area right here around just above 2,700. If we go above, if Ethereum can get above 2,700, you are going to see millions, if not billions of dollars of short positions on Ethereum get liquidated instantly. And just like a snowball, you know, what's the best way to make a snowball? You actually make a little itty bitty snowball, and then you roll it in the snow, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And before you know it, you might have one as big as, you know, you as a human. Right? The same thing can happen with short squeezes. When you start to liquidate all of these short investors, you start to get them out of their positions, it becomes this larger snowball. We could see Ethereum about to take off. And I was going to tell you right before here, again, we'll go look at Bitcoin in a second, but let's focus on Ethereum because it's making a move itself. I had this plan before the show. This red line right here, this zone that has been resistance. Yeah, we had a little bit of a breakout back here in June, but this resistance level is going to be major. This is where a lot of liquidations are, by the way, for Ethereum. If we can break and sustain some movements above here, heck, for sure, if we can get above 2,800, watch out for Ethereum to take off like fireworks. This is a major, major win right now for ETH. And you can see we were in a very bullish formation called a bull pennant. We had a projection that this could easily send the price of Ethereum, let's just go casually, you know, very conservatively. We said we could see this price action honestly take Ethereum very soon up to 3,800. Well, we had a little fake out. Iran, Israel happened, and that threw the markets for a loop, but we're back to retesting this resistance level. I think 3,800 is just the beginning. I had a prediction that I think the ETH can hit 4,500 before the end of the summer. And again, wait till we get above 2,700, 2,800. Those fireworks might take off very, very fast. Speaking of Bitcoin that we're about to transition into here, I want to show you another thing about the Ethereum chart that's very, very important to be monitoring right now. Look at this. I was doing a video earlier today with Paul Barron. On his show, I talked about the importance of this signal. We have broken through as well. Bitcoin's rallying, but it's not rallying as fast as Ethereum. Right now, Ethereum just broke a very key level of resistance, a former support level that had been being utilized, this rising green line. It's been being utilized as resistance here more recently. We've just broken back above. So that level of resistance that Bitcoin still had to control over ETH, that just got shattered here within the last couple of minutes. ETH over Bitcoin flying to the upside, along with Bitcoin starting to reattack its own all-time highs. We just got back above 110,000 here today for the first time since back on the 3rd. This is a major move. Guys, if Bitcoin is rallying, but yet the ETH over Bitcoin chart is falling, the Solana over Bitcoin chart is falling, the Cardano chart over Bitcoin is falling, that means this chart right here, Bitcoin dominance, is falling. And it doesn't matter that Bitcoin's rallying. This chart is falling. You guys came for altcoins. You guys are holding altcoins. You want to see this chart fall like a word that should not be said on the internet, and I'm not going to say because it's a family-friendly show. You want to see this thing go nuts to the downside. I'm not saying you want to see Bitcoin crash. You want to see Bitcoin dominance crash. And right now, what we are seeing happen with Ethereum, as we are close to breaking a very key resistance level and starting a short squeeze on ETH that could send the price to the moon, figuratively, not literally. Man, this is so bullish. Like right now, as we are live here, what we are watching happen is extremely bullish. It's not the end all be all. Again, I want to repeat what I said earlier. I am not telling you, I'm not promising you that we're about to see a 500% increase by the weekend. I'm not telling you to go get a second mortgage on your house and then put it all into altcoins, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is we've been in a very frustrating, long, boring season where altcoins have underperformed. And yet we're seeing signs right now that not all hope is lost. Some people have consolidated, or some people have capitulated. Some people have given up on altcoins. I see literally every single day another person on X comment about how they're so dumb for selling their Bitcoin for altcoins and they're done. They're flipping all out. And it's like, you know what? You do you. Everybody should be making their own financial decisions. I'm not your financial advisor. But I'm telling you right now, this is what market manipulation looks like. You consolidate, you move boring, you convince people with charts like XRP that nothing bullish will ever happen again. And right as soon as everyone gets bearish and says, I'm done with this whole thing, we start to take off. We start to make moves to the upside. The long-term holders, the people who do not have, trigger fingers with the buy and sell button. The people who buy and sit and hold and have confidence and stay convicted, they are the ones who will make a lot of money. Those of you out there, though, who want instant money right now, you want to double your money by the weekend, and if you don't, you're quitting the game. Those people will never succeed in the world of crypto investing. But if you can stay strong and you can hold through, guys, I think we're on the precipice right now of getting that breakout. We're going to have to just kind of sit here and monitor charts. Remember earlier in the show, guys, I told you 110.5, 110,500 was my level for a massive breakout and confirmation of this bullish move on Bitcoin. We're at 110,470. We just 477 a second ago. Have we hit 500 yet? We did. We literally kissed 110,500. So I gave you the level, right? Let's break it, though. And then all of a sudden, we got a major bullish case. While I'm sitting here, we're kind of monitoring another coin we made a video on just yesterday. I see we had a comment about it right now. Chainlink. Who here has been holding Chainlink diligently but frustrated that it won't do anything? Look, this guy right here. Right? People remind me all the time that I made a prediction about a year and some change ago that I thought Chainlink could make it to $700. Guys, someday Chainlink will make $700. I have changed my prediction. Hopefully no one holds me. Listen, you can hold me to it if you want. Hopefully no one holds still 700 for this bull market. I still think 300 is very likely. I think 100 minimum for Chainlink, 300 still likely. 700, let's talk about 2030, right? 2029, 2030, maybe a little after. I think 700 to 1,000 easy on Chainlink. But there's still a lot of money to make right now. And I know some people are just very frustrated with Link. I continue to be diligently holding, buying the dips when I can, and we just got a major move here in the last 24 hours. We broke some resistance here on Chainlink, resistance that we've been under again since back here in May with these constant lower highs and lower lows. But you want to know some good news here. We're breaking out. Look at this volume coming in. Let me go to the 4-hour chart. Volume kind of coming in on the breakout. Not massive volume, but enough to confirm the bulls are working here to break resistance. All of a sudden, keep your attention on a falling, broadening wedge pattern. You take the opening of the most volatile part of the movement, you move it to the breakout. This is a prediction, a price prediction right now for Chainlink, guys, in the next couple of weeks, back above $17. Now, that's nowhere close to the $300 that I talked about long-term. This is a trade move. If you guys want to trade this right now, we're not going to stop at $17. That's not the top of the bull market. It's just short-term trade. I always find it funny when I make a video with a short-term price prediction and people are like, oh, so you changed your prediction for long-term. It's like, guys, there are several moves within a bull market. I'm a trader. I'm going to trade this little moves and I'm going to trade the macro moves. This is just the first spot to get Chainlink moving in the right direction again. Then you zoom out and you take a look at the longer-term moves here and you start to look about, hey, can we get back above $30? Right now we are under, I think, as we're going to see confirmed here, yeah, we need to see the money flow go positive, but green reversal, bullish momentum, rounding money flow. When that money flow confirms positive again for the first time, when was the last time we were positive? You have to go all the way back here to October of 2023 to have clean positivity. You could sneak away with it here in November, obviously, with a big rally, but we haven't had a very clean, large bubble being popped in the money flow since back here in October of 2023. By the way, what did Chainlink's price do in October 2023? Oh, that's right. It just kind of exploded in price here and went up about 200%, give or take, in just a couple of months. We have another one coming, and this one, again, end of summer, maybe early fall. Price predictions at least up here into the $28 range, but I think this would be the one that takes us above 30, starts pushing towards 40. That's where I see Chainlink getting later on. But it all starts with the small stuff. It all starts with, let's break these shorter time frame levels. Let's get a move up here back above $17, and then we'll talk about the long-term future again. Link with a nice bullish move here in the last 24 hours. All right, let's just do a sweep of some other things. SUI back up above $3. Guess what SUI has done here? SUI has broken a key level resistance. I do think this is going to be an interesting zone to keep an eye on here around 380. If you go back here and take a look at this formation, a falling channel, this would suggest a breakout prediction. It's technically a little higher at $3.98, almost $4. Don't be surprised to see some hesitancy, though, on the longer-term resistance level, right? If you zoom out here, we made a video about this one a couple weeks ago, probably a week and some change ago. Long-term symmetrical triangle pattern. Good news for that one. And again, I don't even know if this is the top of the bull market, but just from a TA standpoint, symmetrical triangle pattern like this, you could easily. In fact, you really should probably move it to a potential breakout spot here. I think I said $30 before. The real level should actually be closer to $44 prediction on a breakout above the symmetrical triangle pattern. And before you say, Tim, that's just ridiculous, there's no way that's going to happen. It's a very similar kind of look to what we had back here with XRP. We had a very big move to the upside on an XRP breakout. So don't say it can't happen. Don't say big moves can't happen. I still think by the end of the bull market, $44 is absolutely doable by Sui. And again, that's just what the TA is saying, not even speculation right there. Some other coins, Ondo getting very close to a longer-term resistance level. It actually, you probably should focus on this. Ondo broke out of a shorter time frame resistance level a couple days ago, right? That's a very good sign, but we're talking about Ondo challenging and potentially breaking some long-term resistance going all the way back to December of 2024. That's a breakout, guys, that could signal a move all the way back above $2 for Ondo here as well. Who would love to see Ondo back above $2? Heck, a lot of you just want to see it back above $1. But $2 is the trajectory if we get another explosive move. And guess what? We've done it before. Go back to November of 2024. Ondo can move quite fast once the ball gets rolling. We're seeing a lot of things kind of lead towards that direction right now in the altcoin space. So we'll take a break here. We'll answer some questions. I think we actually have a couple more stories. What time we got? 3:36. Got a lot of time left in the show. Drop some questions in chat while we finish out the show. Bitcoin again, rivaling that 110,500. We'll keep you posted on it. I'm going to read some chat, though, while we read the last two stories, some macro stories you guys need to know about when it comes to liquidity and what that looks like in the future. T-Shroom, go ahead and take it away. What's the macro news for the day today?
Yeah, absolutely. The macro news today is coming from the Fed, from the Federal Reserve FOMC minutes. But before I get to that, I want to show you what that yield is that we mentioned from Kinesis. So if you held your gold with Kinesis in June, the monthly yield could have earned you 14.77% annually. So just to be clear, it's not 14.7% in a month, right? That was the variable rate for June for an annual APY for that rate for the whole year of 2025. That was 11 in May, 11 and some change, I believe, and then it came up. So those of you who understand how APY works, you will see that this is a very attractive, very competitive number. For those of you who don't, this is not the product for you. You need to understand how APY works and then come back and explore these types of products. But it's awesome. We've partnered with Kinesis for a reason. We like them. We think they're great. And here is the macro story, which is not so great. If you're Jerome Powell, President
Pause
Trump
real
is
quick,
now...
T-Shroom. Pause real quick because I want to give this story its attention. Bitcoin is shattered the 110.5. Let's go to my chart here again. This is just one of those shows, guys. We just hit 111,000 on Bitcoin. New all-time highs by end of day. I mean, it's looking like that potentially is on the table. We're rallying so fast on Bitcoin. Even Bitcoin dominance is getting a little bit of a resurgence back up to 64.8 here. Nothing crazy, right? ETH paused for a second, wrestling with that resistance right now. XRP is still hovering right there on 240. Link still right there on 1422. But Bitcoin is the one to talk about right now. Again, getting above 111,000 again, which means confirmed here, everybody. You know, we have now set a higher high on Bitcoin for the first time since the bear trend started back here on May 22nd. Very, very good sign. Good news for anyone in our trading group. We have been longing these coins for quite some time now, going back all the way to the June lows when we dropped back down below 100,000. However, if you were waiting for this sign of like, man, I don't want to buy again until we're confident about another bull trend. And let's be clear here. We haven't had a confirmed switch from bear trend to bull trend since back here. Let me back it up to the 4-hour chart here. You'd have to come back over here. If you guys remember, we were tracking this back in April when we broke above $89,000, the high in March. We confirmed, even though we were already longing, we confirmed a bullish move. Well, guess what? Even if you didn't catch the bottom, once you got that confirmed bullish trend, Bitcoin would continue another 25%, which I know doesn't sound like a lot in the altcoins, but it's pretty good, especially if you're leverage trading. You throw like a good 10x on that bad boy, 20x, some of you who want to play a little risky. You got a lot of money there to be made in the trading game. So what am I saying here? Yeah, you might say, man, I missed the bottom. I should have bought it 98,000. You can't go back and buy those dips. All you can do is move forward with the information you have right now. And what do I have right now? We have a confirmed bull trend on Bitcoin. We have a higher high again for the first time since back in May. This should be making a lot of you guys who are currently in longs just giddy. Probably a lot of you doing some sort of dance in your living room right now as you're watching the show. Some of you in your office, make a scene for a second. You might be able to quit your job if Bitcoin hits it big. These are the signs you're looking for to feel that confirmation and good feeling that you're buying and you're holding are paying off. And again, what's the signal here? What's the target? Low end. I said this earlier, but I want to remind anyone who are newer, 845 people watching. Not all of you saw the Bitcoin TA. We're talking about low end back up towards 100. And I say back up. We've never been there. Up towards $120,000. On a more longer term, on a more bullish term, if you go with a bull flag pattern, we're talking about a move up to 150K. Both will be hit if 150K is hit, but that's going to take a lot longer. I would say 150K, you're probably looking in. That actually would say if we keep the same pace that we did between April and May, technically speaking, this is doable by August 5th, which means less than a month from today. I'm not going to say never. I'm not going to say impossible. I will definitely go on record, though, of saying I'm not predicting a August 5th, $150,000 Bitcoin. I think that's a little too fast. But hey, it's possible. It's definitely possible. To me, 120 seems much more reasonable based on what we're seeing here today. But massive moves here. Bitcoin's not stopping at 111. It's flashing through 111.4 here, everybody. We're just continuing to rally. Let's check some other things again. We're going to go back to news in a second, T-Shroom, but ETH making that confident move above that red line we told you would be very important. And XRP still where we left it last time. Link continues to rally here. 1424 again, key level. We've cleared 1415, very good level. You can see 1415 was a nice resistance zone dating back all the way here to June 16th. I really want to see above 1560, even though I'm already longing Chainlink. We put this in our private chat today. I had several long positions I added to this morning, but I will feel giddy again and feel really excited when I see a move above 1560. And even though I might take some profits in my trading around 1758, all of a sudden you're looking up at that $30 level and you're feeling really good about potentially holding some of that move all the way up there. XRP Timster, love the name, by the way. See your request for Tau. We'll take a look at Tau here in a little bit. I want to throw the excitement is here. I'll run back to the charts if Bitcoin gets above 112. But for now, Bitcoin's rallying, altcoins are rallying. We're explosive. We're bullish. There's 900 of you watching right now, which means you need to smash the like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're enjoying it so far. But let's get back into that important news that T-Shroom was reading that I had to rudely interrupt him. I apologize, T-Shroom. I hate doing that. What do you got for us?
It's okay. It's good because it reminded me I actually wasn't zoomed out enough for the macro news. I need to zoom out even more, which is to show you all this. This is the 98% full moon. So this is the true macro. Bitcoin is pumping on a full moon. Drop the word moon in the chat right now if you believe that the moon phases are correlated to Bitcoin's price. Today seems to be indisputable. You cannot form an argument against it. So let's see. But other macro news, less macro, but still macro. President Trump is now calling for at least 300 basis points of rate cuts. This is not something he has control over, but he's continuing to put pressure on the FOMC chairman, Jerome Powell, maybe you've heard of him, to go ahead and cut. So, Tim, I want to ask you, do you think this is just a negotiating tactic on behalf of the U.S. President Donald Trump, or do you think he really means business that if we don't see a 300 basis point cut, hey, in July, then things could really, really get bad? Is this an early warning signal from President Donald Trump about a potential black swan in the bond market, or is that something that we'd read too much into it? And do you think that this pressure that Trump is putting on Jerome Powell is going to make the rumors true that he's ready to resign?
Yeah, so let's kind of break this down. First of all, Jerome Powell doesn't answer to Donald Trump. He's made that very clear. He doesn't care what the president thinks. You know who else he doesn't respond to? The American people. Like, so you can play this game where you put pressure on a person that has to listen to the American people. An elected official, if you piss off his constituents to write him letters and give him phone calls, you can pressure politicians to change their mind on things because their constituents go after them. It doesn't matter if every American here wrote a letter to Jerome Powell to start cutting rates. He doesn't care. right? And some people are going to say that's a good thing. I think it's a bad thing. I think it's really dangerous when a person has that much power and they weren't elected or controlled by the people. So that's not the route that Trump is taking here. I think the reality is Trump is taking just the full-blown bully route, right? Which we've seen him do, and it can be effective at times. Other people don't like it. You guys I'll leave it up to you. I'm not going to comment if it's good or bad strategy. That's just what Trump likes to do. He likes to say mean things to people he doesn't like, and then he likes to say nice things to people he does like. Just don't get on his bad side. You won't say any mean things about you. I think the reality of it, Shroom, is to try to turn the American people to try to even put more pressure on them, but more reality would be plausible deniability. Not that I think a recession is going to happen. I think there's so many economists have even kind of said, even the ones that were predicting one early in the year are now saying, yeah, it's probably not happening. But I think Trump just wants to make it very clear. I've been calling for it. So when you get fired from your job because your business that you work for is struggling and has to lay people off, don't say Trump got me fired. Say Jerome Powell refused to cut rates. The Fed did this. You can blame a lot of people for it. I ultimately would love I don't think Trump's doing this, but I would love if this was a whole chess play to get Congress maybe even to look into getting rid of the Fed in the first place. Not going to happen. I know I'm a wishful thinker. I'm a dreamer. It's not going to happen. But what he could do is he could put pressure on Congress now that there's some precedents to maybe impeach Jerome Powell. And that's where those rumors are coming out today, which are completely baseless, right? There's a lot of people on X today tweeting out that Jerome Powell is expected to resign in the next couple of days. I want you guys to know, guys, there's zero evidence out there, zero evidence that Jerome Powell is planning on resigning. Now, is there potential motive? Absolutely. No Fed in its short 112 years, I think, it's been around since 1913. In the 112 years that the Fed has been around, no Fed chairman has ever been impeached or gotten rid of. Jerome Powell does not want to be the first. He doesn't want to make that kind of history. Now, he thinks he's safe, but if you can sway Congress to look at probable cause and get rid of him, it would look better on your resume to leave under your own feet and your own power rather than be given the boot from the government. So the only thing that could give any credence to Jerome Powell stepping down is if there's a probable reason to think that Congress is this close to investigating him and kicking him out, in which case he just doesn't want to have the embarrassment. He wants to resign in, grace. I don't know. There's just no evidence of this so far, though. So I just want to encourage you guys, listen, is there a non-zero chance of a July rate cut? Is there a non-zero chance of Jerome Powell stepping down? Absolutely. There's a chance. There's always a chance. But if you're betting money on it, if you're sitting here predicting Jerome Powell steps down and the rate cuts are going to 300 basis points in 1 month, that's not going to happen. It's never happened before. Not going to happen again. But I'm just telling you, you're probably barking up the wrong tree. You should be expecting another pause in July. You should be expecting Jerome Powell, until we hear differently, to serve out his term into, I believe it's March of 2026. And then you should be expecting rate cuts in September and probably at least one more later in the year, if not another two. I will say, and I don't know if we have this tweet up and ready. I might have to find it. Don't go to my screen here, but I'm going to find it from, I think Zero Hedge put this out. There's a summarization that Zero Hedge put out today that doesn't give me, butterflies in the belly about crypto. Now, clearly we're rallying despite this summary, but it is something that's not the greatest. Let me see if I can find it. All right, here we go. Let's go to my screen here, Smay. I'm going to read this tweet. You guys tell me in the comments what you make of this. I didn't think it was very good. But again, we've been rallying ever since then, so who am I to say it's not good? A game of some, several, most, all. Okay? Most, so we're talking about Fed members right here, most saw some reduction in Fed funds rate this year as appropriate. What does that mean? It means most of them, not all, but most of them are saying we're going to get rate cuts this year. A couple, traditionally referring to two, a couple said they would be open to considering a cut as soon as July if data evolved as they expected. That's nice to know two of them are thinking that way, but it's not the majority enough to make any type of decision. Some, I don't know what some stands for. I don't know if that's 6 or 3 or 8. I don't know. Some saw the most likely appropriate path would involve no rate cuts in 2025. That's not good. Not all. It's not most. Some, though. What's that number? I don't know. But they're saying there's potentially appropriate to not do a single cut. That's not good. Several said, what's that number? I don't know. Several said current Fed funds rate may not be far above its neutral rate. What does that mean? It means maybe we get a cut or two, but there's several that believe that we're pretty close to where we need to sit for long term. Definitely not 300 basis point cuts like Donald Trump wants. All participants, so this is the only all participants viewed it as appropriate to maintain Fed fund rate at the current target range. These are according to the FOMC minutes. Comment, please, everybody. Am I just crazy for looking at that and being like, that's not what you want to hear if you're looking for cuts? That makes it sound like, yeah, we'll get 2 or 3 cuts maybe, and then call it a day. I mean, that's far lower. We had an expectation from, who was it? Morgan Stanley, I think, predicted 7 rate cuts in 2026. Well, this doesn't reflect that whatsoever. So let me know. Let me know what you guys think that means. Tony Rosa says no cuts. Again, I don't think it means no cuts, but it does mean, in my opinion, not as many cuts as a lot of us want. Definitely not as many as Donald Trump wants. So let's check in here. What's going on? Bitcoin, 111. What's the high here? Let's go to the daily chart again. What's the high for the day? 11,699. So we haven't quite gotten to 11,700, at least here on the Coinbase chart, but that is some good. So let's go back to the 4 hour, actually. That's going to give me a little more. ETH, let's do some here. Clean break above. I'm just telling you guys, the fireworks started a little early, but I told you if we broke above this red line, we're fixing for some fireworks on ETH and potentially even the rest of the altcoin space. XRP still at 242. I saw Tau was one someone wanted to look at. Let's look at Solana real quickly. Solana, needs to make some more moves here. I want to see Solana get above 160. Get above this high here. We already broke some good resistance. Let's get above that high right there, and we're cooking with some oil right there. Chainlink about to break 1430. You love to see it. Cardano back up above 62 cents. Tau. Someone asked for Tau, TA, earlier. Take a look at Tau. Tau breaking some resistance of its own. Now, Tau had a big fake out back here. Big fake out back here. So this is evidence, even when you think you have the confirmation, nothing ever in technical analysis or charts is 100%. Technically, so let's go back to the daily chart here. What did this look like on a daily chart? This is where you need to read this on a daily perspective. We had one candle open and close above, but not a second one. And I told you, you really want that second candle to do it. Today, we have once again, for the first time since back here on June 10th, we have broken above this trending level of resistance. Let's close today. Let's start an open and close for tomorrow. And then technically, we want to see another open and close on Friday to feel really good about it. As far as my price level to keep an eye on, I don't know what that yellow line's doing there because that's going to mislead some people. Mine's going to be this mark here at 364. What's going to make me feel good about a nice big rally here for Tau? 364. I come all the way out here to the weekly signal. Let's look at what we have going on with Lux Algo. Money flow's curving, but we don't even have a green dot there on the weekly chart. How high do we have a buy signal? Not 5-day, 3-day. And technically, the money flow is not quite positive. But 3-day, we're still, we never got a green reversal. Let's look here. 2-day, we can call 2-day a buy signal. What's that target? That target is all the way up here back to $400. If we do, again, I'm just going to tell you, if we make our way up towards $400, we will turn that into a weekly buy signal. What's the weekly buy signal going to look like? That's going to look like maybe all the way back up to 570. Levels we haven't seen since back here in December. That's crazy that Tau was falling while everything else was rallying. I bought a lot of Tau. I didn't get into Tau a lot. We got into Tau here back in April. Got some more here more recently. So I'm looking good. Tau is a very profitable hold for me. But yeah, that's just the beginning. Tau is another one. Oh yeah, I can see. Yeah, I think I made a Tau price prediction video earlier. I think Tau is one of the ones. 1,800 to me seems very likely. I'm not saying you guys have to hold this long. You sell whenever you want to sell. I'm just saying the analysis I did on Tau and how valuable I think this coin can be, 1,800 easily. I think there's a world in which in this bull market, sometime in 2026, we could see a $4,500 Tau. You can call me crazy if you want to. I'm fine with that. It's just what my thought is. I don't know if I'm going to hold that long or not. I'm just saying I think it's possible. I think in a crazy moonish world, 9,000 is doable, but that to me does seem crazy for this rally. But there's some short-term and longer-term Tau TA for all you guys out there that wanted Tau. I love Tau. It's one of my holds. Bitcoin is by the way, one of my long-term holds. So Bitcoin rivaling 112. I told you we come back here. What do we technically need to break above to hit a new all-time high? All-time high is sitting at 112 on the dot. For some reason, I thought we were a little bit above 112. Did we just hit a brand new all-time high? I think we did. I think Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high on this show while we're live, ladies and gentlemen, which means we can't go off just yet. 112, 152, and again, that is higher than Coinbase's previous high of 112 on the dot. So, you guys want to make a tweet with me? This is live tweeting with Tim. It's a new segment that we're not going to do that often. New all-time high for what tie? That's an E.
Yay!
You guys want some? Let's get some fireworks in here. Some firework emojis. Which one's better? I think that's is that downward?
That's good.
We'll do both. Maybe we'll throw a little TNT in there as well.
Ooh,
maybe
nice.
Maybe a heart on fire. No, that's too much. That might be a little weird. All right, we're gonna rock with it. That's a weird tweet right there. All right, all-time high, ladies and gentlemen. As we continue to add, let's keep adding here. As we continue to add to altcoin season talk, a lot of people out there been agreeing with us, right? I don't want to tell you guys like this is the only channel that ever tells you good information, right? It's not like we get everything right and everybody else gets everything wrong. The best way to know things are good is when multiple quality sources agree. There's a lot of us out there that have been saying, you want altcoin season, you're probably not going to get altcoin season again until we hit a new all-time high. Now, I'm not saying just now that it hit 112, all of a sudden we're going to hit all-time high. I think what we're probably going to see still before you see a colossal collapse in Bitcoin dominance, we might need to hit that 120 first. I mean, this move right here, even though ETH is still climbing and XRP is still climbing and Sol is still climbing and Link is still climbing, these are all good things. Bitcoin dominance has, well, again, I don't want to make it sound like it's climbing like crazy. Bitcoin dominance is recouping a little bit. Look at this in the last hour, right? After a consistent downward trend here, this is the biggest white candle on Bitcoin dominance's 1 hour chart in quite some time. I think you'd have to come back all the way. Yeah, you'd have to come back quite a ways to get one candle that big. So, you know, we might see a bounce back up to 65%. I wasn't predicting altcoin season today. As long as everything's rallying here accordingly, we're good to go. But one of the things we wanted to see was a brand new all-time high on Bitcoin. By the way, another thing that I need to start doing more here again is let's kind of zoom out and do our long-term perspective here on what's bullish. Let's pull up one of my, newer favorite things to look at on a regular basis, and I think you guys should too. Global M2 money supply. It's one of my favorite things to look at here. Man, look at. I always tell people, remove the word perfect from your vocabulary and try to replace it with good and maybe even great from time to time, right? I hate using the word perfect when investing. Look at borderline how perfect the calls here on a 90-day delay of M2 money supply to crypto, to Bitcoin specifically. We told you back in here, we might have a pullback. We might peak out here on June 10th. And we might pull back here towards June 20th. Yeah, we had to wait a couple more days to June 22nd. But even right in here, when people are fussing, I said, okay, it's normal to have a little pullback right here. We follow M2 money supply quite well, right? And this would imply, some volatility. You're going to have volatility, but we should be continuing steady bullish moves here on Bitcoin. If M2 money supply is right, at least till September 23rd. And the reason why I can't say at least or go past that is because we have to continue to wait. Like, give me some more time and we'll see, does this keep going? Or will we see something like this? Will we see M2 money supply all of a sudden kind of come down like this? And then we'll know, all right, take some profit in September there because we're going to have some sort of correction on Bitcoin. That's always a good indicator to watch. And that is telling us we're in pump season right now, expected to continue. And if this is right, expected to continue at least into September. let's see if we continue to have that go to the upside. With the way we print money, not just here in America, but worldwide, my money would be on it will continue. What did I do there? Let me get rid of this. All right, there we go.
Yeah,
well, there
Tim,
we go.
I've got here. Smay, why don't you jump over to my screen, because I want to let the bros know about something that's going to be happening immediately after this live stream is over, and that is that this video right here, the top 5 altcoins set to explode in July 2025. This is none other than Crux of Crypto. He is the host of our fundamentals channel, Alpha Bros, which you guys can find if you just search up Alpha Bros on YouTube. Just go up to the search bar and type it in. You'll find it there. And this new video is covering the top 5 altcoins. You can either search it or just leave this live stream up, and it will be the very next video that plays for you. I know I'm interested in the next 5 altcoins that I want to buy, so this video may contain those altcoins. Also, loads of other great content, the top 3 crypto cycle indicators that are coming, Sui versus Say, Coinbase now powering base altcoins. All of this content and more can be found over at the Alpha Bros website. Crux does an excellent job, and so does he with the editing of these videos too. So really, really awesome production. And great alpha as well, as the title of the channel may indicate.
Absolutely. Guys, make sure right now, Kanko said, did JP just resign? We probably should check just to make sure. Smash that like button, though. We got over 1,000 people in here. One of our larger views on live shows more recently, I think people are coming back in as Bitcoin hits new all-time high. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel and smashing that like button. If we're going to see a story there, Zero Hedge, I would be very surprised if he's not the one to catch it. Let's see what he's tweeted here more recently. Bitcoin nears record high. Akeem Jeffries hits his gym. Why is we talking about Akeem Jeffries? Amazon Prime Day sales plummet on the first day. That's because everyone's buying Bitcoin, clearly. All right. I think that's about it. So, no, Jerome Powell did not resign. Bitcoin buyers are just coming out the woodwork.
Yeah.
And it's good stuff. Wow. Great show. I mean, I don't think we have a whole lot more here. And you know, if we just sat here and did a bunch of TA, we try to do as much requested TA as possible. But here's what I'm going to tell you guys. There's a lot of money to be made in this bull market. There's only so much time we can do here. And we really love doing content for free here on YouTube, but I also really love helping people learn more how to trade. I encourage you, go join our VIP trading group. Yes, there's a payment to it. Yes, you're going to have to invest a little bit in yourself to learn. But over there, I teach you technical analysis. We have a whole Bros Academy where if you've looked at these charts, you're like, man, how do I read the charts the way Tim can read these charts? I teach you guys. Guess what? On top of that, I go live twice a day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and occasionally I do some random ones on Wednesday as well, teaching and talking about live trading sessions, giving you setups. Oh, can't throw a sh in there when you're just doing a setup. Giving you live trade setups so that as you're learning the trade journey, you can copy a little bit, right? I don't want you guys to rely upon copying me. I tell everybody all the time, learn to do this for yourself. If all you do is let me catch your fish for you, yeah, you might have a fish today, but what happens if I take a month-long vacation? What happens if I get hit by a bus tomorrow and all of a sudden you can't follow my trades anymore? The good news is it's not just me. We have several other pro traders over there as well. But if you want to trade, if you want to learn to trade, and you want to see a great community that's encouraging and uplifting and helps you do it, check out that VIP trading group right now in the link down below. Honestly, I mean, I don't want to toot our own horn, but I just really struggle to believe. If you guys are in the VIP trading group, back me up. Tell me if I'm lying. If you are in the VIP trading group, I just don't think there's a group out there that does as much as we do in that VIP trading group for as little as we charge. I could be wrong. And if there's another group doing more, good for them. I mean, great. Find them as well. You know, but I genuinely believe we have one of the strongest groups out there to help educate. That is the main goal, to educate, to teach. We want to see you successful on your own. And if you love it, you just stick around and trade with the group and other people learn from you. So with that said, guys, that's all I have today. That's all we have. Smay, you want to say anything to the people as they're rejoicing at new all-time highs for Bitcoin before we go today? Very good.
That was terrible timing.
Yeah.
Oh, he's coughing for real. Well,
Yeah,
here-
whoa!
I think he was just thinking about the
Whoa!
Steelers season.
I know.
And
I
he was-
literally was about to go, and then I choked on my own spit. So,
Yeah.
guys, keep holding on to your cryptocurrency coins because they're gonna take you right where you need to go in life. Also, I never went to rehab. Back to you.
Yeah,
Tim.
I saw that comment earlier. That was crazy. Anyway,
It's
all right,
all
guys.
though. I probably need it, but back to you, Tim.
Yeah, smash that like button on your way out. Hit subscribe. I would say buy Bitcoin. You know, hopefully you bought Bitcoin before. I'm not a fan of buying things as they hit new all-time highs, but you know what? I'll let you know when to buy again in maybe a free video here or maybe in the VIP trading group. Either way, go check those out as well. We'll see you next time. Adios.